Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas!
It's not Christmas. Christmas was yesterday.
Yeah, but today is the day of the Christmas special!
There is no Christmas special.
No? Why the hell not? I've been looking forward to this all year!
There are no Christmas computer RPGs. How am I supposed to do a Christmas special for the RPG Fanatic show when there aren't any Christmas RPGs to play?
How about something close to it?
Like what?
Well, Santa is a fat little man who delivers presents, right? Why not play another game that has a little fat man who steals items from monsters? Check your stocking!
This is really stretching it, you know that? Torneko the Last Hope. You know when a little fat man is your last hope, you're pretty screwed. All kidding aside, this is actually a really good game, and when it was released in Japan it was one of the best-selling games that year. I'm not sure why Torneko didn't have stronger sales in North America, but I'm going to blame American Video Game Magazine reviewers. The mystery dungeon games are known to be roguelikes with strong narrative elements. In this game you play as Torneko, a character from Dragon Quest IV, whose name has also been translated as Taloon in some of the recent Dragon Quest releases. Dragon Quest IV wasn't released in the US at the time Torneko the Last Hope came out, so I think it's kind of weird that NX decided to release this game in North America, but I'm glad they did because it's a really fun game. I personally enjoyed the many Dragon Quest references. The music, monsters, and items are all from the Dragon Quest series, although I'm unhappy some areas were renamed in the translation. For example, the Lost Forest is called the Loto Forest in the original Japanese version, which is a reference to the main character of Dragon Quest II. The basic plot is that after his last adventure on the Super Nintendo, Torneko has obtained a legendary magical chest that promises great wealth to the owner. However, removing the chest from the dungeon it was sealed in has released a horrible curse that changes the countryside into magic dungeons filled with monsters. Because everyone else is incompetent, Torneko is asked by the king to break the curse and save the kingdom. Graphically, the game might give people the impression it's just another stereotypical Zelda clone, but Torneko is most definitely not a knockoff. It's a far more complicated game than the Game Magazine reviewers led people to believe. All of the dungeons in the game have randomly generated layouts, and the items you find on each level are also determined randomly. This means every time you enter the dungeon, it's a new experience, giving the game considerable replay value because sometimes you might unexpectedly find something really good, and some dungeon levels generated can be more challenging to clear than others. As an RPG character, Torneko can level up to gain character levels, but the usefulness of these levels is diminished because after you leave a dungeon, he is reset back to level 1. This means to become stronger you need to acquire good items from inside the dungeons. You can also enhance the strength of items by merging two items together, which also enables one of the items to take on the special properties of the other. The item enhancement system is pretty fun. It adds a lot of depth to the gameplay, and gives you goals to pursue when customizing your character. Many people have said this game is very hard and you will die a lot. I don't think that's necessarily true. Unless you get really unlucky, there's usually a way to defeat enemies, run away from enemies, or escape the dungeon with your loot intact. You have to think tactically in order to succeed at this game. If you just try to brute force your way through, you won't get very far. And when in doubt, you must retreat, because if you die inside a dungeon, you'll lose all the items in your inventory and half of your money, which really sucks if you had gained some really good items. Fortunately, you can reset the game if this happens, but only if you don't save inside a dungeon. This is because a save from inside a dungeon prevents you from resetting the game to before you enter that dungeon. I personally don't save inside the dungeons for this reason. Another thing you need to watch out for is Torneko's hunger. Torneko has a number of belly points, ranging from 100 to 0, and he loses belly points with every turn he takes. If his belly reaches 0 points, he will start to take damage with every step. In order to satisfy his hunger, you need to find and eat bread items. This resource management part of the gameplay serves to make players think carefully about how much time they spend on maps, and what actions they take with each turn. If you follow my advice and don't save inside the dungeons, you should expect to reset many times to avoid a cheap death resulting in a loss of all your items. I can't give an accurate count on how many hours it took me to beat this game, but I know I spent at least 5 hours in wasted dungeon runs because I kept trying to clear dungeons when my items weren't strong enough to damage the enemies. For an idea on the difficulty, at one point this Skeletor enemy knocked my shield off and into a wall. What other game do you know of where you would see something like that happen? That doesn't even happen in the shitty He-Man game for the Tandy that I begged my mom to. You know what? I'm not even gonna go there. That's a part of my childhood we don't need to relive. After you beat the game, the fun doesn't end. New dungeons become explorable, and Torneko can even change his class from merchant to warrior or mage. As a warrior, Torneko has access to skills that improve his physical damage and defense, while his mage skills allow him access to all the traditional Dragon Quest spells. My final verdict on Torneko: The Last Hope is that it's an excellent roguelike, and should definitely be played by anyone that enjoys the Dragon Quest series. It was unfairly trashed by American game reviewers, who neither appreciated nor understood the genre this game belongs to. Well, that's it for the Christmas special, if you could even call it that.
Excellent. Now let's start on the New Year's special.
There is no New Year's special.
Valentine's Day special?
No.
St. Patty's?
What computer RPG have you ever seen that was St. Patrick's Day themed?
Tons! Why, there's lots of RPGs with drunken dwarves in them.
What kind of show do you think I'm running here?